Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 405 of the Director's Podcast. I'm most always, I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Man, I'll tell you what. The week was fine, pretty busy, but having some days off really feels good, especially since picking up some new acquisitions. That's what I call my new game, pick up some acquisitions.
Nice.
Oh, for those that don't know, from Thursday of last week here until the 21st of January, the Nintendo eShop is having all of these great sales. And I'm talking about certain games, certain popular games that generally would, like maybe every once in a while, go on sale. Now it seems like a lot majority. And from checking the eShop, they have an estimated total of like 1,188 games currently on sale, which that's nuts in and of itself. Some of them include like first-party Nintendo games, say like Splatoon 2, like let's see, I forget some of the other ones right at the moment, but Splatoon 2 I know is like about 42 or some. ARMS is another one, so if you've been remotely interested in some of those, I mean, hell, that's the cheapest those two games have been, quintessentially. But more or less, I've spent a lot of good time this weekend just going into some games I just recently acquired for my Nintendo Switch. But
Nice.
What have you been doing, Tyler?
Not a lot, man. Same old, just clanging and banging as always. Got my Green Bay Packer hat on here to celebrate the Green Bay Packers winning, going off first time hosting a NFC Championship game in the Aaron Rodgers era. So got this on. It's very hot though. It's gonna come off here in a minute. But I snuck this on right as I hit start recording. And then Gables was looking down to grab his coffee, and I was just there looking at him in the camera. I'm like, just you look up, you bastard, look up. And then I see him look up, and it was funny. It was good times. But this is a big episode. I'm taking this off. I can't. It's hot. My ears are sweating. How do I take it? There it is.
Oh, that's what you know is a good hat.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's great for outside. I tell you, it's really great, but not practical. Not practical at all. But this is a big episode for us, Gables.
Yeah, it is.
Hopefully this is working. I don't know. We did like a little mini test thing, and I think it worked, but we'll find out. But we are, for the first time ever, recording this show on Twitch live. So we are live streaming this on Twitch. I got the burp already. Oh, sorry, drinking Oktoberfest. I haven't had a beer in like 2 weeks. I didn't drink last week on the show. I just wasn't feeling it. What do you mean, wow? I'm not an alcoholic, Gables. Why you gotta say it like that? Like, wow, you haven't drank in 2 weeks. The only time I drink is when I do the show anymore. God, wow to you. Look at you drinking coffee. You caffeine addict.
Oh hell.
I can't make fun of you. I have a crippling addiction to caffeine. But anyways, this is our first time ever doing the show live on Twitch. That's why if you're watching us live, and hopefully, my camera did a weird zoom. I gotta stop looking at myself on our OBS here. But I just want to make sure everything works. I don't know what I'm doing. I just literally set it up. So our camera's weird because the way it's laid out on Twitch, and hopefully if everything works out, I will post it later on our YouTube, and that way people can actually watch us as we're recording the show. And it just isn't our logo in the background like it is on my TV screen over here. But that way, people can see what we're doing if they want to actually watch us see what we're doing. I will try to figure out all this later with the I'm pointing at my other monitor. That's what I'm doing. That's why my hand's moving over, because I don't know what to do with my hands right now, because I never actually had to worry about what I'm doing with my hands. Anyways, I'll try to figure out our layout for how to make it so it's even, because like I can expand it, but it just keeps growing larger. So then like that's why Gables is like, he's the full screen, but he's only over here. But then I'm a little bit, don't do the hand thing, man. This is so weird. This is so weird to people that just listen to us on audio. But yeah, it's we're having a good time. It's actually, I think it's gonna be more fun for us now. We can see what the fuck we're doing. And then it's not I don't know how to edit. It's cause I'm literally just gonna pull the Twitch video after we're done and just export it over to our YouTube channel. know how to edit. I don't edit video. I literally, like I've talked about a million times, I literally learned how to edit on Audacity after we recorded our first episode. So, and I literally was watching YouTube videos and spent 6 hours watching YouTube videos and then stopping, watch a video, figure out the fuck I need to do. All right, how do I silence this? Okay, how do I clip this? Whatever. So literally on the fly, and I don't have the time to learn how to edit this show and also edit the video later. And I'm literally the only place it's being recorded to is on Twitch. So I'm not recording this on my personal computer because my computer is making some noises I've never heard before. So that's weird. Hopefully it doesn't blow up while recording the show. I should probably check Audacity, make sure that's going okay. Audacity looks like it's okay.
Yep.
So I'm just a ball of anxiety right now, but I'm also looking to have a good time because hopefully nothing goes wrong here. But at the very least, we'll have the audio. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so this is pretty exciting for us. When we had our week off there, and I was like, after we did the Game of the Year stuff, I decided to look into. We always say, oh, check us out on, twitch.tv. I'm sorry, I'm shaking my camera. I keep hitting my desk. But I always say, go to twitch.tv/Drunk Nerds Podcast on Twitch and follow us on there. But it's like, we never really use it for anything. Like, we'll stream on there for the Extra Life, or if we play a random game together, or if I'm just in a mood to randomly stream something, I'll do that if we have a gamer night with the Talking Ship guys. But we never really use it regularly. So I figured use this regularly. Maybe we get some more people could see us live as we record this. We usually record on Sundays, sometimes on Saturdays, but mostly it's been lately the last, I don't know, year maybe. It's been Sunday night. Excuse me, I am burping a lot. I don't know why. I had Chinese food.
There you go.
That's why I'm burping. Yeah, so usually we record Sunday nights. We don't have like an exact time. Usually it's typically we hop on Skype about 9 Central Time, 7 Pacific Time. And then we'll start recording sometime after that. It really just kind of depends. So we've had times where we're on the call for 5 minutes and then boom, we're recording the show. We've had times where it's 3 hours later. I'm like, I guess we should probably record a podcast now. So it just kind of depends on, it's, oh my God, it's 1 a.m. We should probably record. So it just kind of depends on how things go. So yeah, we'll usually check in. I'll check, set it up. You follow us, set it up. So you hit the bell or whatever it is you get an alert saying that we're on. Yeah, do all that so that way when we're popping on. But typically it's probably going to be around 9:30ish Central Time on Sunday nights. And I'll post I'll get better about posting on like our Twitter and Facebook page about going live, around this time. And so it's gonna be hard to kind of get a exact time. Maybe we'll work something out. I don't know, but we do this for fun. We don't do this for anything else. So I think we're just going to kind of do it the way we want to do it. And hopefully you guys join us for the ride. But yeah, if you're an audio listener, I'm sorry for that, but it's just something we wanted to say. But yeah, if you want to watch the video version, go to our YouTube, Drunk Nerds. Yes, Drunk Nerds, I'm pretty sure. You probably know that by now. And then also on twitch.tv /Drunk Nerds Podcast. But I had an issue. If you go to just twitch.tv and you search Drunk Nerds Podcast, we don't show up. But if you just type in Drunk Nerds, we do show up, even though our name is Drunk Nerds Podcast on there. I don't know why, but that's how it's worked for me. So yeah, hopefully this is all working. We did the test stream, but we didn't really know. So we'll find out if it's working or not. So anyways, this is the 405th episode of us doing this. First time doing it live. First time doing it with actual video, hopefully, maybe, possibly. But yeah, Gables, we got a lot to talk about this week.
Yes, we do.
There's a lot going on. We've had a lot. Everybody took the time off for the holidays. We took a nice little weekend off. We recorded a bunch of shows and took the weekend off to play some games and do whatever the hell it is. I just watched a lot of football. Yeah, everything in last week, there wasn't really a lot. We had a couple little things, but it was mostly us talking about like the Pokemon anniversaries. But now everything it was like literally every day I woke up, boom, there was something when I got up before I was laying in bed, dreading going to work. And then I'd be like, I don't have any time really to be on social media or anything like that. So then I get home and I like look on social media and like 6 other things happen. I'm like, what the fuck? So it's just every day there was like two or three decent things, and then there's always a lot of little small stuffs here. But yeah, we have a bunch of topics here. I don't know where to start. let's start with some Nintendo stuff first, actually, while we're at it. So starting off here, we actually had a Super Mario 3D World trailer. First time we actually got to see finally Bowser's Fury. We've been talking about forever. Like, what is it? What is it going to be? Is it going to be, just an extra world, some more levels? But it actually turns out to be, it's more of a open world area. We have Bowser Jr. going around with, like, it looks like a paintbrush of some sort, and you're like taking out, looks like it's like a Splatoon thing. Like, it's like you just got to take out the ink kind of thing, and then Bowser just what's all the Dragon Ball nerds call it? When you Super Saiyan. I was thinking more like the Gigantamax thing from Pokemon is what I was thinking. But I just gotta say right now, there's a lot of kids that just saw that trailer and saw Cat Mario being huge for the first time. In about 15 years, we're gonna have a big surge in furries that we didn't have before. If we didn't have them already, there's gonna be a big surge. It's like, in 2020, there's gonna be a lot of kids. There's a lot of jokes when quarantine first happened, lockdowns. Like, there's like in about 9-10 months, there's gonna be a lot of new kids. There's gonna be a big burst of children, and this will be the same thing. This is the 2021 version of that is furries because of Mario, with his weird mustache. But anyways, finally got a trailer for that with a little bit of content. That wasn't too much details. You gotta get the cat. There was a video that came out later that kind of explains some shit. You gotta collect the cat shrines, which unlocks the giant bell you need to do to become big, like Bowser, Giga Bowser, whatever the fuck you want to call him. I liked Meowser better in the game. But anyways, so you gotta get big like him, and then I'm assuming fight. That's where it ended. It looked like a giant, like it literally reminded me of the Pokemon Sword and Shield and the when you're having the gym battles and you get to like the last Pokemon against the gym leader,
yes.
And you have your Pokemon and you both Gigantamax. That's what it looked like to me. And I don't know if that's what they're going for, but that's what I got out of it. What did you think of it, Gables, when you saw this trailer?
Honestly, the impression I got out from it, well, first and foremost, when I saw Mario take the bell for the first time and just grow gigantic, it was like, oh my god, Mario went Super Saiyan. And all of a sudden, it's like, I started thinking about it, and now that I think about it right now, it's like, it looks like a gigantic kaiju battle between Bowser and freaking like giant cat Mario. Which is
this thing just sold 10 million more copies in Japan.
Oh my god, dude. Freaking, it looked like a Godzilla versus freaking King Kong aesthetic almost. Only instead of being an ape, it's a cat Mario. But what initially that I loved about this reveal was the overall landscape of it really reminded me a lot of Mario Odyssey. Because this is like an open world, sort of like a terrain sort of esque. Quite honestly, the size of the area that Mario was exploring alongside Bowser Jr. kind of reminded me almost like an entire a gigantic, almost sort of like a sandbox sort of thing, where it's like you go to one thing or another. It kind of reminded me a little bits here and there of like the Super Mario Sunshine hub world when you first go into a lot of that tropical island aesthetic and this and that. But what it also kind of reminded me of is like, it just kind of reminded me of like a lot of aspects of some previous like 3D platformers as well, where it's like one part, when you complete one part of the world, it affects the other part and stuff and this and that. But I really love the inventiveness of a bunch of the puzzles they introduced inside that trailer, what it looks like. I like the idea that just to have something a little bit different from the main thing of the Mario 3D World and stuff. You can actually start with that from the get-go if you choose to. But I like how you have Bowser Jr. helping you alongside. So if you do like a co-op thing, and you have someone play as baby Bowser, like Bowser Jr., and you play as Mario and stuff, just exploring, doing different puzzles and stuff. I really did enjoy seeing the elements of Bowser's Fury. It's something new, it's something familiar, because it implements 3D World's main power-up gimmick, which was Cat Mario. And it evolved into almost like a cat island, where there are literally portions inside this trailer where you see Mario, and there's like a group of cats just hanging around Mario, just nudging on him. Like, what the... I'm sure there's
furries, man. I'm telling you, furries.
I'm sure there's a couple innuendo jokes that are fit into this freaking like a trailer that I'm not aware of, but yeah, from everything I've seen, it looked like it was gonna be a pretty pleasant experience, and that's partially the reason why I'm heavily considering purchasing that game when it releases February 12th. Because it's enough of an incentive for someone who's played the game before on the Wii U to go ahead and look at it. It's like, oh wow, this is a brand new experience. Maybe I'll get like another 5 or 6 hours out of the game. Who knows? It looked pretty sizable, but I'm not sure how long it's going to take. But, well, we're going to be seeing that pretty shortly.
Yeah, that's kind of what like I'm thinking too. Is like, how much content is here? Because like is that the end? Like, did we already see like, oh, Super Scion, Gigamax, Gym Leader Battle, Bash kind of stuff here, or is that the end? Like, how much content is here? Like, I'm gonna get the game again, regardless. I've been pushing for like, I want this. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping again. God damn, it's orange chicken, man. I'm telling you, orange chicken. But anyways, it's so good though. Yeah, I just. Like I want the game already. I've been saying for years, like I can't wait for 3D World to get brought over. A, because I want to play the game again, and B, because I want people that didn't play the game because it was on the Wii U actually play this game, because I think this game's gonna sell great. It's basically like it's gonna be like a brand new game to a lot of people, and I can't wait to see what the sales are for this. I can easily see this being a 15 million seller right off the bat. So for me, like just what this is just extra. Like I understand, like I think it sold like 5-6 million copies on the Wii U, so you gotta get people that want to, get them to rebuy it, and this is a good way to make it so. But yeah, I think a lot of people are already gonna buy it again anyways. But this is just another, another cool thing, and it's just, I think when you look at like a lot of the deluxe, stuff we've been getting from the Wii U ports, it's usually not much. We added the funky mode to Donkey Kong, or we've added, we put all the DLC together and we added a different mode or a couple new things and put Pikmin 3. We don't see a lot of new stuff. And this seems like the most substantial thing we've had yet, here's this whole new area, and it's completely different from everything else we've seen in the Mario game. And so I think this is going to be incredible. I can't wait. February 12th. I mean, this is a game I pre-ordered months ago at GameStop because they have a poster if you pre-order it, and it's a cool poster. I'll show you the poster later. It's actually cool now. Well, they had one, but now there's another one. It's actually cooler because it's like Bowser giant Bowser standing over Mario and Bowser Jr. like on a cliff, and he's huge, and it's just like I'll show you later. It's awesome. But I'm all in on this game. Like, it's already one of my favorite games. Like, we've been talking about doing a Game of the Generation podcast, and we haven't done it yet because, well, I just haven't sat down and done it. Maybe put my list together. I've started it, but I haven't put it together yet. And this is one of those games that's going to be somewhere on that list. Spoiler alert. So yeah, I'm all for playing this game again. Next up here, sticking with Nintendo, new Pokemon Snap. It's just a game we were just talking about last week, as far as like what's Nintendo gonna do for Pokemon's 25th anniversary. This is a game we already knew was coming. It's supposed to be a 2020 game, but then COVID obviously pushed it back. We were talking about, I thought this was a game we get early this year, and turns out we're getting it. It just randomly dropped a trailer. I really woke up, was just doing my morning poop, TMI, for you guys, not me. I'm there. I was there. And sorry. Someone posted, "Hey, a Pokemon Snap trailer came out." I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" So that's where I was, where I learned a date of Pokemon Snap. Was on the toilet, but where I learned most great things, But anyways, so it's coming out April 30th. It's gonna be the full $60. And it is some other stuff, like they're collaborating with Katy Perry. There's a cute little video that came out on their YouTube channel that was it's like a minute and a half long. I recommend people check out. We don't really have any idea about what else they're going to do. So it sounds like they're going to be doing some stuff as the year progresses, which is something we figure. They got so many different things. There's that weird Pokemon League of Legends ripoff game that looks not great.
Right.
That's coming. But so we had like a 2-minute trailer. Not a lot of gameplay, but it's a Pokemon Snap game. We already know what it is. But it's my big surprise coming out of it is actually the full $60. And that's something I talked about a while ago, where I'm like, I don't know if I want it to be $60, but I mean, who knows how much content's there? Because it's a tough balancing act, I think. Where like the first game, I think you could beat, like, without 100%ing it, it's like you could probably beat it in an hour and a half. And the 100% it probably takes 3-4 hours. So that's my concern, is like, it's like you gotta find a nice for $60. I mean, they can do it because they're Nintendo. We're gonna buy it. We've been clamoring for this game for 22 fucking years. Like, they know we're gonna pay $60 for it. This is a game that no people want, and Nintendo knows they can do that, and they're gonna do that. I don't really necessarily blame them for that. I'm buying it, but I'm gonna old man yells at clouds kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's like this game can't be 8 hours. It can't be 10 hours. So you gotta find a middle ground where it's like you keep me entertained. You're also gonna want to get. It's a balance act. I think the Pokemon company's done pretty well of like that balancing act of like the old with the new, keeping those old fans, making them come back. Some new ones come back, keeping the older fans like me keep coming back. Like playing like Let's Go Pikachu, and then there's I even picked up Pokemon Sword and Shield, stuff like that. So there's a lot of balancing I have to do, but this game's gonna be successful no matter what, and I'm super excited for it. What about you, Gables?
Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty excited about it myself. I mean, April 30th is the initial release date of the new Pokemon Snap. I kind of feel like full price is kind of the same thing that they did back in the day when they sold it initially. I mean, initially, when Pokemon Snap came out in the 64, it was a full $50. Yeah, it was incredibly short when it came to a lot of the content and stuff. But the best thing about the original Pokemon Snap, it was readily replayable. You could take the best screenshots, and at the time, if you had a Blockbuster near you, you could take your cart to the Blockbuster. They had like a little display and stuff, and you could print out pictures that you actually took in the game. I remember that being a gimmick back in the day. I used to see that in articles of the old issues of Nintendo Power. But for this game, what I'm hoping for is more of what made the classic one so fun, and that was you have a select couple of courses, like maybe 5 to 7 different courses. You could go through them multiple times, discovering through different trial and error methods, like how specific Pokemon react in their habitat, or how they actually change their mood, or they evolve based upon a certain condition. I mean, that's what I'm personally hoping for. And from what it looks, the look of this new Pokemon Snap game, to be perfectly honest with you, looks a lot better than what was presented in Sword and Shield from the initial outlook. Which, I'll be perfectly honest with you, a lot of hardcore fans, when they saw the footage of new Pokemon Snap and saw how good that thing was going in motion in game, were pretty pissed off that we didn't get the same thing for Sword and Shield.
Much smaller game though. It's it's not
that's true.
This giant not giant open world, but it's not a big open area. And then like what's the big open area they had in Sword and Shield?
Oh, it was the wild areas.
Yeah, but, that. Like it's not gonna be anything like that. Hopefully, I don't know, man. Who knows? I guess there will be a lot of Pokemon wandering around, but I imagine they'll be like, and there won't be like free running. They're going to be in a loop of some sort. So.
Well, yeah, of course. And because it would be like a traditional on-rail sort of thing, I mean, it's from like start to finish, have everything else in between. As long as it captures the same feel and the same type of replayability as the original, it should sell fine. I mean, if you're a hardcore Pokemon fan, or you're just a new person going in, it's like, oh, hey, this is Pokemon. Oh, it's a photography game. Let's go ahead and try this out. It's non-threatening. It's very much a Pokemon game through and through. And I can't wait to experience that when it comes out during April.
Yeah. You brought up a good point about like, getting better scores and replaying. Like that was something as a kid I would constantly play it. The on rails, another big thing. I think that that's my concern is like, don't get too like we found like like with a lot of games, like when people are claiming for something, just do that same thing but in 2020, 2021, or whatever, in this era. Don't get too crazy. Just make it look nicer, update it a little bit, stuff like that. But don't change what it is, because we love it for what it is. So don't fuck with it. And like that's don't make an open world. Like put on rails. The thing that does suck is they announced that there's gonna be no online anything. Like I would love it to like be able to compare scores or compare screenshots with friends. Like that's something I wanted to talk about with like I'm going to talk about with 3D World, where it's like I'm gonna miss the what was it, the Miiverse?
Oh yes, the whole
like
thing,
that was the coolest fucking thing to me. Was like after you beat the level, all the people like I know they're really changing how the way you can do with stamps in this game, but like that was the coolest thing. That was something like a lot of us talked about when they announced the Switch. They said Miiverse was dead. Like that was such a cool thing that I wish they bring back. Like, and I know how big they are about like online protect the children and all that shit, but it's like that was so cool, and it was like nobody else was doing it. Like PlayStation, they have the stupid little feed thing. I know Xbox does, but like the Miiverse was badass. I loved it. like they're taking screenshots and posting them on like forums or sharing them with your friends or putting them on your own personal feed. Like it was like a cool like like we don't like me personally. I don't think Gables or like for the most part a lot of us like we don't because especially how friend codes work. We don't have a lot of friends on our friends list. I have like 10. I have more than 10, but like there's only 10 that I actually like give a shit about, and like other people just I attach it to my Facebook, and people on my Facebook sent I don't fucking care about them. So that sounded worse than I meant it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, those people that are on my Facebook,
I don't fuck them. I don't like. They're not like gamers like we're gamers or anything like that. Like they're not like actual people I know in real life. They're not Justin. They're not you. They're not people like talk shit. People I play with. It's like people I know will have fun with that. And like I love it to like. Like just I was thinking about that 3D world. Like I'm gonna miss that. Like you get to the end, you see your score, and then you see all the cool pictures and funny things like 67 seconds, beat that, on 3D world. And then like or you see my friends' screenshots of that cool pictures they've taken, and like see their scores and be able to beat their scores. Like have leaderboards. And I mean, I don't imagine a lot of people, my friends, are just gonna play this game, but even still, is to have the option, like even like Gables and I go back and forth on some cool stuff. That's something that makes me miss. Like I've been thinking about that more lately, especially after they announced the trailer and they show with the 3D world, and like talking about the stamps. I'm like, I've just been thinking about Miiverse a lot lately, and I miss it, Gables. I miss it. It's good times.
Yeah, the Miiverse for the Wii
Life was never
3DS. That stuff was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, who would have known that our life would have peaked at Miiverse? Like
you know what?
Who saw it coming?
A lot of people felt the same way about PlayStation Home when that was a thing.
Oh God! I just remember like all the scary people wearing Subway cups with Nathan Drake's face on it.
And all the Cole McGrath costumes. Yep.
Oh, that was the worst. That needed to go. That was bad. Don't do that again. But anyways, moving on to some non-Nintendo news. Where do I want to go from here? Let's jump in. Like we could probably make this quick. So, Mass Effect Legendary Edition was announced on N7 Day, which was also Extra Life, last year. And it's so weird saying last year when you're talking about something that happened 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But so Legend was something that was been leaked and rumored forever. Got delayed because of COVID, obviously, and then they had issues with Mass Effect 1. They were like trying to do a lot of changes to that to make it more modern to like 2 and 3, and then. It was like, it's supposed to come in October, and then it got delayed because of that. And then it's supposed to be, they'd said spring. Well, a few sites, like always, it's some, a different country, posted it on, there's like with the date, March 12th. So they said spring, it's right now, January 17th. So I don't you got to think here. I know like this is something they could probably announce. It's Mass Effect. It's the 3 that everybody loves. 2 everybody loves, so they could probably announce this in a month and it'd be fine. We could put a month build, but I feel like I think with the way EA works, they have to get out ahead of shit. So I feel like any time now, if March 12th is in fact the date, which I kind of lean in that it is, usually most time when, sorry, Louis was being weird over there, most time when the shit like this happens, it's usually the case unless it's like something we don't know anything about or whatever. Like, like remember, like I think Metro Prime 4, a date came out like 2 years ago. It's like we haven't even seen anything about that game. There's no way it's coming out in 6 weeks. But like something like this, I think is probably happening. Gables, what's your thoughts on the leak date?
To be perfectly honest with you, it could be any time throughout the month of March or like early April and stuff. I feel like that this is a credible leak date because, for one, EA's been sitting on this trilogy for a while now. I mean, we've heard nothing but like rumors about it for the past almost like a past year and a half when it came to that stuff. So March 12th, I believe that. All that I have to say is for those who have never experienced that trilogy, when that thing does release, either on PlayStation, on Steam, or on freaking... Oh, wait. You actually have access to play those games on Steam if you really wanted to. Or on, like, the Xbox One... All the DLCs there, especially the first and the second game. Quite honestly, a lot of the second game's DLC is pretty damn good, in my honest opinion.
It's so great, yeah.
Not only just I'm not talking about the Zahid stuff, because, you know what, that's fine. But, like, Kasumi stuff, the Arrival DLC, I mean, I remember quite a bit of Mass Effect 2. And quite honestly, whenever you or whenever like those that are listening on right now or whoever soever is watching our Twitch thing right at this moment, if you never played the Mass Effect series, you have a PS4, you have an Xbox One, or whatever, get these games. They're fantastic RPGs, and they represent BioWare at their best when it comes to storytelling and when it comes to gameplay stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely peak games. These are games I can't fucking wait to jump into. And it's just like, I wish they were here like now, or a month ago, because that would be the perfect time. Because we're in a weird place because we don't, like we talked about last week. Last week we had no idea for most things. Now we have some dates are filling out. So it's like, there's not a lot right now. March and April filling out a little bit. There's some good stuff coming. Ubisoft delayed some games this week, but Red Republic and Far Cry's got delayed, and there's one other game that got delayed. Prince of Persia got delayed. So it's like, it's not as busy, but there's some stuff coming out. So I can't wait till I have a month or two, because it's going to take me a long time to beat these games. And I can't wait to sit down and just fucking plow through these fuckers. But moving on, Gables 2, we got a couple kind of some Disney news here, and some Lucasfilms news. So Lucas Games is back now. After Disney bought them, they shuttered the whole thing. What was that, like 8 years ago? They got rid of it. People that made a lot of really great indie games, like I just spaced them, like Tales of Monkey Island, things like that. Also, a lot of Star Wars games came out. A lot of people that love those games. They got rid of it. It's like, we're not interested in making games anymore. Like, we're just EA. You got a 10-year contract, exclusive contract. You make games for us. So kind of interesting. They announced on, I think it was like Tuesday, they're gonna, whenever a Star Wars game comes out, it's gonna be under the Lucas Games mantra, kind of like how Marvel's is, like the Marvel universe. There's always a little splash at the beginning. PlayStation has it now. It's kind of thing everybody does now. Well, then it came out, so they announced, I believe, the very next day, that Ubisoft's massive studios, the makers of the Division games, is making an open world Star Wars game. No real details on it other than basically they've been working on making this deal for almost a year. And a lot of people were bringing up the question, like, what does this mean for EA? It's like they got rid. Like, a lot of people were thinking, like, jumped to the conclusion that they canceled the contract. Now it was a big deal, like 2017 after Battlefront 2 and all the bullshit with the loot boxes. Disney was pissed at them, all that about, this cancel the contract, blah blah blah. So basically, from what I think, a lot of people are like, I don't think there's any confirmation, but a lot of people are gathering that. So the contract runs through 2023 for EA on the exclusivity. I think it's the exclusivity though, like only they can release Star Wars games. So I think there was like a cutoff in there where like Disney could start talking to other people, or Lucas Games in this case could start talking to other people about making games like in 2020, but they can't release the games until basically 2024 is what a lot of people are gathering out of this. We don't really have dates or any concrete facts, but so Star Wars, Ubisoft's now making massive studios. Guys, like I said, make Division 1 and 2, making an open world Star Wars game. Gables, what was your thoughts when you heard this news?
To be perfectly honest with you, yes, I was surprised when I heard the inklings that Ubisoft is going to be making a Star Wars game. I feel like you're on a good point, though, when it comes to the whole negotiations between that, because with EA having that contract to 2023, when essentially making the Star Wars games, that license, that, I kind of felt that, and a lot of other people thought that EA just had a kind of a stranglehold with that. There had to have been some sort of talks going on that would allow, like, Lucasfilm, like Lucas Games or whatever the hell, to go through and talk with other type developers, obviously. But I feel this is kind of exciting, and I say kind of exciting because, having the Star Wars IP at another publisher, another developer right now just sounds super appealing, only because for the most part, EA consistently dropped the ball with the Star Wars franchise, with that IP in general. The only exception, and that's probably going to be for like some people, I haven't experienced the game myself, but Star Wars Fallen Order. I think that is the one game that really was a fun commercial success with not too much controversy that surrounded that game's release. Right now, you can get this game for super cheap. I mean, I've seen it for like $40. I've seen it on Game Pass, because EA, you could easily download and play this game now if you really want to and experience it. But other than
Yeah.
like the Star Wars Battlefront games and also like Fallen Order and stuff, EA hasn't really done a lot of positive stuff with this IP. And so hearing Ubisoft going through and developing like an open world game, I mean, yeah, I'm excited that this is going to another developer and stuff in order to, you know, have something new and different. But at the same time, I really am hoping that Ubisoft is not going to say make it just another generic, say, Assassin's Creed clone or a lot of the other types of open world games they've done and developed for initially. I mean, Assassin's Creed's one, the Watchdog games, like the Tom Clancy Ghost Recon, whatever the hell. But Ubisoft has a particular formula when it comes to their open worlds. If they're going to spend, and if you're right, potentially, if these games don't see release until like 2023 or 2024, then I hope they spend like the good solid 2, like 3, or how many years or something developing and make it unique, more so unique than some of the other previous open world games that they've done. Because quite honestly, us as gamers, we have endured the Ubisoft formula in terms of their sandbox games. We know what to expect. We know there's going to be checkpoints and stuff that you have to go through and like scope in a surrounding area. We know we're going to have some sort of either drone or a bird or something's going to scope out like targets here and there so we can pick them off one at a time. As long as it's creative, and I'm being hopeful at this point because with Ubisoft, it's literally 50-50 with their open world games.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be looking positive at it. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like that, being positive because I'm in that same boat. Like I'm in the middle ground because I think it's gonna be a Ubisoft game because I don't like I talked about last week about with Valhalla. It's like I have that weird feeling, that weird relationship with Ubisoft games. Over the last generation, basically over the course of this podcast about how they've changed with their games, and I don't know, like I don't. As Ubisoft goes more in this direction, I've definitely fallen off of them. I feel like it seems like a decent amount of those hardcore, like even early Assassin's Creed fans, like they've fallen off on them. But like it's bigger now than ever with where they've gone the last 3 iterations. So I feel like and we're not gonna have time probably this week, but the NBDs came out for best-selling games for last month and then for the year, and it's like all of the games like are top sellers, so it's like there's no reason for them to change that formula. And I think EA sees that, or not EA, Star Wars sees that, Disney sees that, Lucas Games sees that, Jesus. And it's like they don't want them to change that formula. They want them to do the Ubisoft game, but the Star Wars formula. And I'm sure a lot of people are feeding for that. Feeding, is that the right word? Feeding?
Craving for that.
Craving's a better word. I don't know if feeding's a word. I just made it a word if it's not. But craving, that's kind of what I was going for. Like they love that idea. I've heard people on Twitter like when that news came out loving that. And I'm just like, man, it's like that's not what I want, But I'm not gonna poo-poo it. I'm excited for it because just from the standpoint of somebody else is making a Star Wars game. Like EA, they've something we talked about 2017, like they squandered it. They've canceled 3 games, including Amy Hennig's game.
Mm-hmm.
They hired the lady, probably the 1 or 2 biggest, most important people for outside of Neil Druckmann. Like those are the 2 biggest people for the Uncharted games. And then they hired her to make it a Star Wars game. And then they said that game's too much like Uncharted. Don't make that game. It's what? So, and then, they've canceled 3 big projects of theirs. They released Star Wars Battlefront. That was Battlefront 2. Obviously, it seems like it's a better game, but came out to controversy. And Jedi Fallen Order came out. Really big turnaround for them. I thought it was a pretty good game. I enjoyed it. I think it was like 9th or 8th on my list for last year, or 2 years ago, 2019 now, for Game of the Year. But I know, like, talking to Justin, a lot of people, like, that's their Game of the Year. Squadrons, I know like a lot of people enjoyed it, but it's a smaller game. It's not bigger, but I think they're on the right path, but it's just too little too late. I know we're probably going to get a Fallen Order 2. I'm sure there's some smaller stuff in development. But I just love the idea of like them kind of doing what basically the Marvel side's been doing. They're the same company, but different studios, basically different people working on, we're putting together Marvel games. You see like the Spider-Man games. You see the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Like we're seeing some cool things come out of what they're doing. Like they're picking their people who they're going to work with, and then like, hey, we have this cool idea. Like we want you to make a game. You make a game like this, but in our universe. Can you do that? It's like fuck yeah. Like it's like you think about that. Oh, I'd love to. I was like, you're trying to think of like cool studios match up with like. I like the Shovel Knight guys make their own like Super Star Wars game. Shit like that. Like that's you get like excited for that. Like about like some cool matchups they can do. And it's just like I love the idea that other people are gonna be able to work on Star Wars games. I'm just not enthused about who they're working with to make the Star Wars games, because I feel like it's the big guys that they're going to the big guys and they're going to sell well. There's going to be an audience that loves those games, and if you love them, they're good. That's awesome. But I'm not really like personally, I'm not enthralled by it. But it makes sense. It makes sense for why they're doing that. But speaking of making some moves here with Lucas Games, Machine Games, the makers of the Wolfenstein games, is making an Indiana Jones game. It was just announced. So we had a little teaser trailer. Is all we got. It's like 30 seconds. Just showed pan across a table with some, like there's a passport on there. There's a plane ticket. He's going to Rome. It takes place in 1937, so it takes place between Indiana Jones 1 and 3, because 2 was the prequel. So somewhere in there, there's some like blueprints for the Vatican. Not a lot of other news. Todd Howard is going to be the executive producer on it, which is actually cool. He's the director of the Elder Scrolls and Fallout games. Kind of a fun fact about that. He's actually the one that pitched the idea to make a Indiana Jones game. He's the one that like started this whole collaboration in the first place. But I don't know, Gables, when you heard that the Wolfenstein guys are making a Indiana Jones game, what was your thought?
Complete surprise, honestly. For one, it's like that's an IP that we have not seen in a hell of a long time from any publisher. I mean, the last thing I can remember is the Lego Indiana Jones game on the 360.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I'm like, I remember there was like a 64 game that was like an Indiana Jones game.
I think there was that. There was one on the Xbox as well, an obscure one a long time ago that wasn't particularly great. But okay. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, that's fairly exciting that you have Machine Games, you have Todd Howard and stuff that. Obviously, this is a passion project of them, so this is going to be something that they're going to be working hard and diligent on. And from what the initial things that I've heard and stuff, I'm excited. I feel like this is going to be an interesting action-adventure sort of style of game. But I'm kind of wondering if they're going to take cues, say, from like the Uncharted series or even like some bits of like Tomb Raider in regards to exploration stuff. Because those two series, in my honest opinion, Uncharted and Tomb Raider are both akin to classic Indiana Jones.
Uncharted is just... Yeah, sorry to cut you off, but yeah, Uncharted is like a love letter to Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. I mean, it really is. We've been talking about that for, 14 years since Uncharted 1 came out.
You want to hear something that's funny, though?
Yeah.
Learning about the news about it and, like, people on Twitter reacting, it's like, who's Indiana Jones?
Oh, boy. That hurts. I mean, like, I think the first film came out in 89, which is the year I was born. So, I mean, I'm definitely, like, I grew up in basically by the time I was able to, remember things, like, it's been out there for a while. But, I still, like, I'm not, like, a huge fan. But, like, I fucking know who... I've seen the movies. I enjoyed the movies, except for the fourth one. Second one's okay. But, yeah, that hurts.
Oh, that's poor Zoomers.
That's sad.
Anyway.
Yeah, poor bastards. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's exciting news, and it's a weird thing where it's like much like the Star Wars news with Ubisoft, where it's like, all right, cool. Like it's a weird mix, but Machine Games really good at making some anti-Nazi games, which I'm all for. Killing Nazis, never not fun.
That's just kind of hilarious, though. The same development team that made the Wolfenstein games, which is all about like fighting against Nazis, is all of a sudden making an Indiana Jones game, which is quintessentially fighting against Nazis.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just one's way more violent and has a lot more boobs. And I'm talking about Indiana Jones. A lot of boobs, guys. You kids out there, if you haven't seen Indiana Jones, so many boobs. Have your kids ask your parents if you can rent it.
And fun fact, kids, this film series was responsible for the whole PG-13 ratings.
Yes, that and Jaws.
Yes.
It's actually rated X in theaters. You should go watch all the Indiana Jones right now. I'm not gonna tell you. One of them has a lot of boobs in it. Boobs. I'm not gonna tell you which one. Just start from the first one, work your way through. It's into one of those four. Anyways, ruining the youth, pissing them off at the same time. Yeah, it's a weird mix where it's like, okay, Machine Games, all right, they make great first person shooter games. They're making an Indiana Jones game. It's gonna have to be third person. This is a game that neither Todd Howard or Machine Games ever made before. They always make. I know like the Fallout games, Skyrim or whatever, Oblivion, Elder Scrolls. You can go first or third, but it's not. You can't traverse like you can. You're not gonna be able to like swing on a whip or anything like that. You're not gonna be anything crazy, like a Fallout or anything like that. So, I think that's gonna be interesting how that works. But I think Machine Games can do it. I think you look at the way they revived the Wolfenstein games. It's awesome. I think it's just a matter of like how much freedom they have to make this game. With Lucas Games, because that's something that we've heard people in the past talk about, like working with any IP in general that's not yours. Any licensed game is like a pain in the ass because you got to fit within. It's gonna be canon now, so you got to fit within the story's got to make sense with the rest of the world, and then it's also you got to make sure that they like it and blah blah blah. So like Star Wars is definitely one of the worst, one of the harder ones to work with in that. So I imagine it's the same company, so it's probably gonna be difficult as well. But I'm all for it. I just hope that this doesn't interfere with Wolfenstein 3, because we were on a pretty good path there. We had 2014, 2017, 2021 now. We're going to get a Wolfenstein 3 here now soon, Gables, because Daddy wants his Wolfenstein 3 because I want to kill Hitler. Because we're going to kill Hitler. And God damn it, I want to fucking kill Hitler. I technically killed him in Wolfenstein 2, but then you can't do that, and it goes back and it makes you replay the scene over again.
Technically, you did also in Wolfenstein 3D as well, Mecha Hitler.
That's true. But I want to kill Hitler in 4K HDR.
There you go.
That's why, and 60 frames per second, preferably. Yeah, I just want to do that. So yeah, I'm not a huge Indiana Jones fan, but I have all the faith in the world in Machine Games for this game. But moving on to some other news here, Gables, we are getting a Resident Evil showcase on January 21st.
Yes, we are.
Brittany Brombacher from What Good Games. Yeah. Wow, that was way hard for me to say. I don't know why. Is going to be hosting this. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Central Time on Thursday, January 21st, 2 p.m. Pacific Time. It's going to be on everything. They said there's going to be some Resident Evil announcements, but the big thing is they're pitching. We're going to see a trailer and some first look gameplay at Resident Evil 8 Village. Gables, I feel fairly safe in saying we're not only going to see Resident Evil 8. I think we're going to get some other stuff announced. What are you expecting to see out of this whole thing?
I think it's pretty safe to assume that we're probably going to see the multiplayer component as well to this game.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's something that's been heavily hinted at as well. But from what I'm hoping to see how, obviously more of the gameplay, but maybe more about the story and the setting, because we did see tidbits of it, and apparently there are spoilers of the plot somewhere online right now for Resident Evil 8 Village. So I would definitely say for people, you want to be excited when you play this game, stay off of any type of major things like say Reddit or Twitter when it comes to anything Resident Evil related, because like any other video game, if it's big budget, if it's something that everyone's looking forward to, you gotta believe there's gonna be people that's gonna be leaking spoilers, no matter what.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, though, I'm really excited to see how the game performs. I'm also excited to see if we're gonna actually get a release date for this game.
Yeah.
But it's fairly close now. What is it, the 21st?
Yep, Thursday.
Good. So this coming Thursday, the 21st, and stuff, we'll be seeing more about it. I'm pretty excited because from everything else that I've seen and from the rumors that have been coming through, I'm hoping that it is sort of like a explorable sort of not like a sandbox, but like an open world sort of game where you go through this thing or that thing and just do things in this different sequences,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for it too. I'm looking forward to it. Like, we were talking about last week. There was like, well, maybe there was people were speculating there's gonna be a state of play because that people heard rumors that there's gonna be they're gonna announce some news about Resident Evil 8 here soon. So, I think this state of play not ruled out, but this definitely rolls out the Resident Evil 8 being there. There was that leak we had a few months ago, with the Capcom leak, and there was like April was supposed to be the month that comes out, and that'll probably be the case. And I'm wondering, like, we're talking about the multiplayer stuff. Like, there was that in that leak as well. They're talking about there was going to be an Outbreak, which was a 4-player PS2 era game that came out. That Resident Evil 4-player game. So I wonder if that's gonna be the thing. I mean, we had the one last year that was bundled with Resident Evil 3. What was that, Resistance or something? And nobody liked it. And I don't think anybody really played it. Everybody just fell off that real fast.
You know what? Traditionally, with Resident Evil, when it comes to multiplayer games, like online multiplayer, they've not had a good track record. And any type of attempt at certain games like that, whether it be on the PS2 era with like Dead Aim and Outbreak, whether it be like Resistance with what was bundled in Resident Evil 3, or even like with Umbrella Corps from like the PS3 and Xbox 360 generation, Capcom has tried repeatedly to try to make a multiplayer style like shooter game with the Resident Evil property, which sounds promising on paper, but they've lacked the execution on almost all attempts.
Yeah, and for the most part, I mean, up until I would argue these last few games they put out, the remakes in 7, the games themselves, not like super fun to play games either. Where it's like, I'm not saying they're bad gameplay games, but you're not replaying the games for how great the gameplay is. You enjoy the loop, you enjoy the puzzles, you enjoy the story, you enjoy the scares, all that. This isn't, a Destiny, or this isn't, they're not this great fast-paced or first-person shooter or something like that. Like I don't think their games roll over well great for multiplayer.
Right. If they fuse the different aspects of what makes the game fun and addicting to play, whether or not be progressions, whether it be through like the experience of the grind that makes things pleasant by, I don't know, gradually increasing like the satisfaction of players actually earning stuff while they're going through the process. I mean, gameplay is important too, but the thing about online games that makes them appealing for a longevity, especially if you're playing an online multiplayer like a Destiny 2, you have to have a reason to come back. It has to have great gameplay. It has to have progressions that make sense. It has to have balances and things and precision and great online in order for it to be appealing for a long term.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't know if they have that to make that so. I mean, obviously, they're going to keep trying. I think we're gonna get, like, we got a sneak peek at that. There's like that Resident Evil, was it Infinite Darkness, the anime series that's coming in 2021 on Netflix. I think there's gonna be a live action Netflix one too. I know they're rebooting the movies, live action movies. It's gonna be more grounded. It's actually gonna make sense, and like it's gonna be more like Resident Evil. I don't even know if they began filming on that. I know they cast people, but I don't know if they even.
Oh my god!
Started anything. So maybe we get a teaser for that. This also is the 25th anniversary of Resident Evil, so a lot of big shit happened.
That's very true too.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder if we're gonna get more than just 8. I mean, I think 8 would be enough, but I mean, personally, I mean, I don't know, but I think they're going to do something bigger. Maybe we get, I think, Resident Evil 3 or Resident Evil Revelations 3, like that was rumored, and that was a thing in the leak as well. And then maybe we get a teaser for Resident Evil 4.
Perhaps, that was also inside the rumors and everything else. And when essentially that's the last noteworthy game, in my honest opinion, that, well, besides Code Veronica, let's just be perfectly honest with you, that's another game that should have gotten a remake treatment. But Resident Evil 4, if we see a hints of that makes perfect sense. The 25th anniversary of Resident Evil, you have 8, you have the online component of that, and alongside of something that gamers have been sort of looking forward to,
Yeah.
I say
so I don't
because Resident Evil 4 has been released multiple times. It's
700 times.
On a toaster now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can play it on my watch at this point. So yeah, I don't. I mean, they don't. They typically don't. There's not like a big timeline between Resident Evil games being announced and released. Like Resident Evil 2 was E3 to January. Resident Evil 3 was like January to April. Then this one I think is what, September. I think it was announced in September or revealed in September, and we're assuming April. So there's not usually. So if they do announce Resident Evil 4, assuming that's an early 2022 game, this would be kind of out of the realm for them as far as those bigger titles go. Moving on to some PlayStation news here. So CES was a digital event last week, and there PlayStation was there. They showed like a little sizzle reel. It wasn't really a lot to it. It was just more shit we've already seen. But there was a little thing at the bottom with some small letters or small words about dates, stuff like that. So coming out of it, a lot of people were freaking out about it. It's funny, the last two of things they posted about like PS5 have been like the biggest news we got with PlayStation since the PS5 was launched is been two videos they released with small letters. They have dates like Ratchet and Clank and Gran Turismo are first half games, and then Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok are second half games. That was at the one they posted like a random 2-minute video in like December or November with that. And then we had this, it was a nothing sizzle reel, and then at the bottom, and then people blew it up. And then now you can watch the video back, I think, on the PlayStation YouTube channel, but they took the little thing at the bottom with all the shit on it out of it. They scrubbed it out of there. But in it, Ratchet and Clank and Horizon just Forbidden West just say sometime in 2021. Kena Bridge of Spirits as March. That was that weird fantasy game in a forest, I believe. Little Devil Inside is coming in June. Solar Ash is coming in July. Stray, which is that weird cat robot game, and Ghostwire Tokyo are to arrive in October. And then Project Athia will be launching in 2022. That's that game everybody thought was Final Fantasy 16. And then Pragmata, which everybody thought that was the next Hideo Kojima game, was a 2022 game. Now it's being pushed to 2023. So that's all the stuff coming out. But not a lot to say on it, I don't think. It's cool we got some timelines, but it's until we get some announcements and until the games come out. I mean, delays always happen all the time, especially now more than ever. I think people are more on the side of delays than ever after Cyberpunk. And obviously COVID and just games in general get pushed all the time. So I don't know. I mean, it just kind of reminds you there's a decent amount of good games, pretty big games coming out. Like Little Devil Inside. I don't know what that game is, but it looks fantastic. I think that game, I watched a couple trailers because I couldn't remember I remember the name. And I went back watching trailers. I'm like, oh yeah, this game looks fucking awesome. I just don't know what it is. Solar Ash, that's the Hyperlight Drifter guy. That's his next game. That's supposed to come out in July. Can't fucking wait for that game. That's that rollerblading looking game. Stray, the weird cat game. We don't know anything about it. It's just there's a cat and there's robots. Ghostwire Tokyo, that's the Evil Within guys. That's the PlayStation exclusive, I think, for 6 months, coming in October. And then we obviously know about Ratchet and Clank, and we don't really know anything about Horizon. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of cool to have some timelines, but I mean, it doesn't really mean much until they actually officially announce them and we get some more details. And like half the stuff we haven't even seen gameplay for. What was your thoughts, Gables, on this?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I saw little bits of like the supposed games are supposed to be releasing towards the end of this year for the PlayStation in general, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, whatsoever. It looked like a freaking giant flow chart and saying, okay, this is the games that's supposed to be released at this part or that part. Honestly, I'm fairly excited because, for one, it's like the Ratchet and Clank games, the Horizon game releasing this year. There's still like kind of like a thing where it's like, okay, Horizon still releases on PS4. We already know that. I know the Ratchet and Clank thing is still exclusive to PS5 and stuff, but it's nice to know that there's an outline of what games are going to be releasing this year. There are obvious games. There's obviously the spots in this list and stuff for some months that we don't know anything about. Like definitely saying November, like the whole August September sort of thing. But yeah, it's like a typical. Okay, we know the games that release in the first half of the year are quintessentially from Sony. Like I know Returnal is supposed to be fairly soon.
March 19th?
Yeah, March 19th or so. So it's a couple months away. But yeah, it's fairly exciting. It's fairly exciting for new PS5 owners.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all those games, I think Returnal and Ratchet Clank are the only two that are going to be PS5 only. So the rest of those are going to be on PS4 and 5. So, yeah. Like I said, it's cool to have some, have a little bit of a timeline. But like I said, until we see some shit and get some confirmations, I'm not going to get too crazy about it. A couple more topics, but I think we're going to save them. One's just about CD Projekt Red apologizing, but it's just, whatever. It doesn't mean bullshit. I don't, But anyways, so Gables, it's been a week now. This part where we talk about what we've been playing. Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first?
Tyler, why don't you go first this time, man?
All right. I hate myself for this.
What?
So I started playing a game again.
Okay, you started playing what game again?
That's it. I've ranted about it many times on this podcast, Gables.
Oh no.
And it's not Resident Evil 6. It's not Resident Evil 6. I don't know why. I was just at work the other day, and I don't even know what brought it on. Okay. I was just like, oh man, like I just can't let it go, Gables. It's like it's just like, oh man, you think about it, like how you could have done things differently, or like, oh, maybe we can make it work, or blah blah blah. Maybe if I just try harder, just push through, get better, Fucking talking about Death Stranding. I started playing Death Stranding again. I can't let it go. It's just it's that thing in my past. You gotta, maybe we could have worked it out. And so I've only put another hour and a half into it. I just fucking threw it on easy. I was like, fuck it. Because I played it about this time. I was looking at my trophies. I got a trophy today, and I was looking at it. I'm like, when was the last time I played this game? It was about this time last year. I tried it again. So it's just my annual. And it was in end of 2019 when I played for the first time. It's like, I'm not digging this. I put 3 hours into it. I put another 7 hours or so into it again in January, and I'm like, I'm just not fucking digging this. I went on my rant about it. Here we are a year later. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just the weather that brings it back, because I played it this time of year. I don't fucking know. But I started playing again. Like I said, I only played another hour and a half maybe. And it's getting better. It's getting better. I'll say that. I still want to fucking throw everything in my apartment out the fucking window sometimes, because it frustrates me so. But it's getting better, Gables. Yeah, that's really all I've been playing. I've been playing Death Stranding. What about you, Gables?
All right.
Your volume got really low.
Yeah, there's something going on with
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
You're better now.
Yeah, my audio for Audacity actually went through and kind of leveled itself out. Anyway, I've been playing quite a bit actually. And I had a chance to play a little bit more of the DLC for Dragon Ball FighterZ. Just a little bit, try to get back into the flow of things. I am very happy that even despite that game releasing back around 2018 or something like that, yeah, I'm still having a fun time playing that damn game. And even with the latest DLC, I was trying Super Baby 2, the character that released this past week. I know it's funny, the whole fucking name, but the character is actually pretty fucking fun to play.
I don't know why it got me. It was super. It's not just Super Baby. It's Super Baby 2. It's the second one.
I know, and quite honestly, it has to revolve around the story for fucking Dragon Ball GT. And quite honestly, I do not feel like going into the details of Dragon Ball GT.
Don't ruin the illusion for me by explaining it. I just want to live in the world where I just know there's something called Super Baby 2.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead.
Well, anyway, going through his move list and stuff, because in Dragon Ball FighterZ you have a combo list and this and that. It was pretty fun going through his thing up until I actually got to the last combo set, which the last one you have to combo a couple of different light and medium attacks and stuff, and then all of a sudden end it with his level 3. As soon as you get to level 3, he transforms into a giant golden ape and stuff, like a giant golden kaiju stuff, and just fucking does this big old Vegeta's Gallic gun or something like that, just shoots freaking like a big old freaking laser blast and stuff like
Hadouken!
that. Yeah, pretty much. It was fucking fun. It was fucking hilarious, dude, because it's like you can combo into this move pretty easily, right? And all of a sudden, it's just pretty much a cutscene. He transforms into a giant golden ape, fires on a blast, just does massive damage, like over half the freaking life bar of your opponent. And it's pretty fucking fun. I have to admit, man, it's like with Artwork Systems, the makers of this game, plus other fighting game franchises like Guilty Gear and stuff, they definitely know how to go with the ins and outs of each character they've done with this game. And that's what's made this game really enjoyable and is definitely one of the best games of the past generation, in my honest opinion. Well, with that, I'm still waiting on the last character, which will be coming out like over the span of this year, like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, which I'm kind of wondering how they're going to go with his moveset, considering there's another Gogeta, like Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta and all this other crap. It's going to be another overpowered character. I mean, that's kind of obvious at this point, in my honest opinion. But other games that I have been playing, like I said previous, inside before recording, and also at the beginning of this episode, I splurged on the eShop. Dude, $50 got me 8 great games. Or, at this case, compilations of great games. On the eShop right now, you can get games like the Castlevania Collection, Contra Collection, and like some other like Konami collaboration games for like $5 a piece, man. And let me tell you, the deal with some of these compilation games, like this set in general, it's fantastic. Because you get the Castlevania one, you get all, like Castlevania 1 through 4, Bloodlines, and like the Castlevania Adventure games, the Game Boy, and an unreleased game in Kid Dracula. For Contra Collection, it's like you get not only the arcade versions of the first and second Contra, but you also get the NES games, Contra, Super C. You get Contra 3 on Super Nintendo, Hard Corps, which that one is pretty much the biggest one right there, considering that game goes pretty, it actually sells pretty high on the secondhand market. Not like extravagant, but it's one of those rare to find games in the Genesis that people love to find and play because it's so good and difficult. Let's not forget difficult. But yeah, I had a chance to play a little bit of those collections on my Switch. It's kind of the same concept as when I played a little bit of them on the PS4. The only difference is in handheld mode, they actually perform fairly well, as you would expect. There were some little differences I noticed between like the Switch version and the PS4. I think it was a little bit more like the aesthetic-wise. Some menu layouts are kind of a little bit different, but nothing like too extravagant. Other than that, let's see. I got those 2 games. I got this Konami like arcade collection one, which normally runs for about $20 on PS4 and like Switch and the Xbox Game Store. Quintessentially, it's like arcade games that they had back from the early to late 80s. So you have games like Scramble, you have like Nemesis, which is considered Gradius, and like you have Gradius 2, you got Life Force, and the technical first Castlevania game, Haunted Castle, which is hard as balls and also especially like cheap. But the good thing about this is that not only are they allowed save states, but they have that little feature with certain games that have released on Switch, like those Johnny Arcade games. I think I've played like one like Night Slashers, to where you can actually press a button and it basically acts as inserting a quarter into the machine in order to get like continues and this and that. Yeah, I've done that quite a few times already playing that. But like I said before, there is some great shoot 'em ups, like some great shmups as they're called, not shumps. I know the terms are stupid, in my honest opinion, but I understand why they're called that. They're definitely hard. They're definitely worth a try, though, for $5. I mean, you can't really go wrong. I would not advise paying $20 unless you're a super fan of these arcade games, because this is only for a specific niche of like gamers and stuff that really love their arcade shoot 'em ups. Other games that I've actually got that I haven't tried yet, I haven't played this game yet, but I got Blasphemous, which that's supposed to be a pretty good game. $12.49 it was, so it's half price. Okay, that was 4. Then there were a couple other games I know that I haven't mentioned, but there is one that I have been playing today, and I played it for 2 hours because it was a fantastic experience, in my honest opinion. It is called Tawaga, Among Shadows. This is a game that I've had moderate interest in when I saw it released on the Switch, not even like a month and a half ago, right? So the game was $15 initially. So the concept of this game is you're a villager, right? You're like a village warrior. One day this evil force destroys your village, right? But you get reawakened, you have to go through and cleanse these 5 shrines, and quintessentially the combat is sort of like you use the right control stick, the right analog stick, in order to control your blasts. And what's interesting about it is you get to earn all sorts of different types of shards of jewels in order to upgrade certain aspects of your character. So quintessentially, it's sort of like a roguelite. There's RPG mechanics inside of it, but it's like a simple action game to where you go into these different phases. So in all those like 42 phases, it actually says inside the story mode. But here's the kicker. You can actually go through and restart all over from the beginning again with your power-ups that you keep, and keep farming for like specific shards and stuff so you can upgrade certain aspects. Like, there are certain things you can upgrade that are pretty stereotypical of certain games, like more life, more mana, like collective stuff, easy regeneration for your health and your magic and stuff, increased range, width of your wave beam that you shoot, increased damage, this and that. But the thing about it is, through each phase, you have options to defeat a lot of these different void enemies, and there are different enemy types that are introduced every couple of different waves. So like every 2 or 3 waves or something, you encounter a new type of enemy, or in different shrines, you encounter new types of not only enemies but different types of power-ups. I think there were like around 5. I want to say 5 different power-ups that you can actually use for like magic. So you start off with sort of like a wind sort of thing, then all of a sudden introduced to like a frost element, and then the third one is like an earth element. In 2 hours, I'm quintessentially, I feel like I'm through like half of the phases, so 22 out of 42 in all. I've unlocked like about 4 different elements. The last one I unlocked is sort of like a lava slug sort of element, to where it scatters certain like fire, and it just continuously causes damage to enemies over time. But the premise of this game is you're standing on a podium, right? Or standing in one place in certain aspects of this game, and you're just basically using your right analog stick to just point around the camera and stuff and shoot enemies that are coming from you from like all directions. So it's like a 2D game, right? It's like a 2D action game, but it sort of has like the aesthetics almost of like, say, a Guacamelee, or of like certain cel-shaded like 2D games of that type. And there are certain elements inside of like particular portions when you're going through like specific shrines where you gain access to quintessentially go into like a spiritual state, to where you can fly around and shoot void enemies and do this and do that. So out of the 5 shrines, I've cleansed about 3. The game is super fun. I spent, like I said, around a good solid 2 hours. But in that 2 hours, I got a lot of things accomplished. I maximized my damage because it goes into certain like elements of like upgrade stats. So for damage, you can upgrade your thing up to like about 6 times to max out. I think the same thing with like the wavelength, like the wave beam like width of it. It increases like maybe 10%, like 10% more damage, 10% more width or something like that. On top of those upgrades, you also have a separate upgrades for your magic things, to where you can upgrade like the width, I think, of the magical elements from that as well. So there is a lot of replayability with this. The game feels extremely smooth. There's nothing like inconsistent about the frame rates, or in terms of like anything terrible or broken about it. The enemies are unique enough to where it feels fresh every time you go through a different phase. And the best part about it is, this game is on sale on the eShop, and it only cost me about $2.24. That, in my honest opinion, is the best bang for your buck I've gotten from this. eShop sale. So Tawaga, that game on the Switch's eShop, it's also on PS4 as well. I think that one was released around late 2019, early 2020 for PS4. So if you want to get on that platform, that's fine. But if you have a Switch and you want something cheap, but it's going to last you for a long while, definitely pick up Tawaga. That is a fantastic game.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, so you're definitely getting your bang for your buck on this.
Oh, no shit.
And I'm sitting here replaying Death Stranding for like the 15th fucking time. I don't know why I do this to myself. I don't know why I do it to myself. I don't know. I don't know. I just can't let it go, Gables. I can't let it go. Anyways, yeah, I don't think we have much more else to talk about other than that. Thank you so much for listening to us. This is your first time listening to us. We appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. It's not. Sorry if this isn't the greatest quality of anything. If you're watching us live right now or you're watching us later on YouTube and video, it's our first time doing it. Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing here. I literally installed OBS like a couple weeks ago. I was fucking around with it and did some Googling, and it's just like ways to do this. So I'm doing it like this is how we're doing it. And I'll try to work on it, make it better. So that way, at the very least, our video looks better. I'm pointing at my other monitor here. I got two monitors. I have OBS on this one. I keep pointing up, but the camera is right here. Yeah, I'll work on it, try to make it better so it works better and it looks cleaner and it's not oddly cut off the way it is right now. Yeah, I'll work on that to make that better. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed like this. If you're watching us on Twitch right now, let us know what you think. You can join in on the chat if you want. On YouTube, if you're watching this live, check us out on there. Or talk, comment on there. Tell us what you think. Like I said, I'll figure it out as I go. I'm not a video editor. I've never done it before. I'm not really going to. This is just something we're doing. Just it's like not a lot of effort put into this. Quite honestly, so it's different for us, but we don't have the time to be putting in the video editing side. And this is just kind of, I thought, a fun way to be in video finally. It's not just when you watch our YouTube videos, if you watch us on there, because we do have some people that listen to us on there, you can, it's not just our background on there. You can actually see us as we're talking, see what we do as we're talking. If my dog decides to bark and go crazy because someone walks in our building, I can't edit it out. It's live. Gables has to walk away.
Yep.
Let's walk away. I had to go pee. My neighbor decides to have one of his 50,000 fucking guests that decide to show up at any point in time. Doesn't matter if it's 2:00 in the morning on fucking Monday. It's happening. I don't know what he does. I don't know what's going on up there. But yeah. Anyways, this is us. It's what we look like. This is our where we live. I got my picture. That's there we go. There we go. Bam. You can see the bottom half of Louis' face. I got him. My sister framed him for me. One of my favorite pictures of him. You can't see him, but he's up there. So yeah. Anyways, this is us. Thank you guys for listening. If you like this, check us out if you're watching us later on YouTube. Go to twitch.tv/drunknerdspodcast or go to twitch.tv. Just type in Drunk Nerds, and you'll find us. It'll be the first one that pops up. For some reason, you type in Drunk Nerds Podcast. We don't show up, but if you type in Drunk Nerds, we do show up. We're the first one showed up. Just click on us. Just subscribe, follow, whatever you do on there. If you're watching us live or you want to watch us later or on YouTube, just go look for Drunk Nerds. You'll find us. Drunk Nerds, whatever, you'll find us. We're on everything else, though. iTunes, Spotify, anywhere. You look us up. I've added us on everything that Libsyn allows us to be on. We're on it. I put us on all of them. We've definitely seen a big boom this year on that. And this is kind of a way I thought we can get an actual little boom, maybe, is actually being video. And we like doing the show. We love doing the show, and we just figured more people can listen to us, the better. And now you can see us, see what we're doing as we do the show. Fun fact, if Gables has to get walk away one of these episodes, you'll find out he's Donald Ducking it right now. He doesn't wear pants or underwear while he does the show. He just wears a long t-shirt. So that's fun for you. Maybe next time he'll wear the hat too, the Donald Duck hat. We'll have to buy you a Donald Duck hat now. But anyways, go ahead.
Dude, you would not know what to do if all of a sudden I just appeared one day and I just dressed up an entire fucking duck suit.
I'd be all for it. It'd be great content at the very least. I'd be all for it. I mean, speaking of furries, you know, we'd have a lot more. We'd create a lot more furries. Who would have more furry? Who would create more furries? Mario in a cat suit or Gables in a duck suit?
Oh boy!
Oh, you only find content like this at Drunken Nurse Podcast. So, anyways, I hope you guys like this, appreciate it. Let us know what you think of it. Love you guys. I was your host. I was Tyler.
And this has been Colonel Gables. So, from our house to your house, thank you very much for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Nerds Podcast.
And hey, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.